Hello and welcome to today's webinar about keyboard shortcuts. We've entitled today's webinar, Different Strokes or Put the Kibosh on Your Mouse. I am Mark Werber, the Director of Association Management Software. I'm joined today by our two excellent trainers, Diane Clem and Frank Rittersdorf.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
We are coming to you live from our multimedia studios here in Simi Valley, California. It takes a village to pull off these online webinars, so I'd like to recognize from left to right Sabrina Freilich, our marketing coordinator, Mark Boatman, who turns the knobs behind the scenes, and that's the rest of us online today.
Today is a special edition of the latest and greatest. Yes, we are upgrading our customers to 10.1 now, and actually you will see in our webinar, we'll be using version 10 as well. So again, it's finally rolled out. You've seen a little bit of what it can do from last month's webinar, and now we are upgrading so you, our customers, can really take advantage of the enhancements and benefits of it.
And today's webinar is going to cover various helpful shortcuts in Magic by using the function keys, control key combinations, and hotkey shortcuts. We're going to talk about Magic 10 shortcuts, and we're also going to direct you to some printable help on the matter. First, let's look at the F keys, the function keys, and how they relate to Magic. We're going to cover F1 through F4 first. Frank has taken us to the member query form. We'll open up a member record for you here, and we'll use, first of all, the F1 key. F1 is field help, and it's relative to whatever field you have your cursor in. In this case, we're using the stop mail field, and that is a field that will control whether or not you want to exclude this member's name and address when anyone creates a member merge. You can also use Alt F1 and get help on the entire form that you're in. So when you look at your help menu there, you can select whatever part of the form you want information on.
So basically, Diane, you're saying that F1 and Alt F1 is not Yelp, but it's still great help.
That's right, Frank. And you'll notice throughout this webinar we use word association to help you guys remember some of the shortcuts. So we hope we're a little bit entertaining for you today.
And as corny they may be, hopefully
Yep.
they help. So as you probably can imagine, after F1, we're going to go to F2. So F2, we're going to, again, go into the member information form. And let's say you're thinking, I want to change this member's full name. We'll just say Tom, right? We're going to type Tom. And in the middle of typing, the member's right in front of you said, no, I go by Thomas. So instead of having to delete all of this and retype in what you had, all you have to do is hit F2, or in Magic 10, it's actually Control F2.
So what you're saying, Frank, is that F2 is an undo.
It certainly is an undo.
Now we're going to look at F3. And to do that, we're going to open up the lists portion of the member record. You can see a member can belong to several lists. You may, at some point, want to remove them from a list. Highlight the list and use your F3 key. And first, you have to be in modify mode, by the way. So once you've used your F3 key, click Y for yes, and you'll see that list is removed from the member record.
So F3 is that complete delete.
Exactly.
And guess what? We're going to use the list form for our next F function key is the F4, which you can see in a lot of different forms. If you want to add something in there, you can actually hit F4, which provides you another line to populate. In this case, we just removed them from the Spanish language. How about we enter them into a different language? Because we found out that they can speak, if I can remember correctly, we'll say Chinese. So we add Chinese, escape, it's been saved. If we go back and look, now Thomas Adams can speak Chinese. He's on that list.
So F4 is to add one more.
One more is indeed, one more.
Now we're going to move on to the next set of F keys, which is F5 through F9. And Frank
Let's go ahead and review really quick, Diane, while we do that.
You know what? That's a great idea.
We don't want to get too much out there. So again, at the F keys, F1 through F4. Well, first we talked about F1 and Alt F1, which again, not great. It's not help, or Yelp, I'm sorry, but still great help. And F2 is the undo. Now remember, Magic 10, it's Control F2. A little bit of a change there. F3, the complete delete. And F4, adding one more. Now F3, F4, then we have a disclaimer. You must be in modify mode before or prior to executing this action. Okay, let's move on to the F keys, F5 through F9. Let's go back to Magic. Yeah, let's get there.
Back to the member query form. So Frank, let's talk about the F5 key. You're going to use the F5 key to zoom into any field that you want to get more information from. And the way that you can tell that you can zoom into a field is you can see the word zoom at the bottom right portion of the screen. Some fields you can zoom into, and some you can't. For those you can go into the next layer of information where you have options to select from. Zoom, in this case, opens up the member query form.
Zoom.
So basically zoom is, what we're using zoom is we're zooming into the layers. We're peeling Magic like an onion, the multiple layers that Magic will have. It's a very robust software we're working with here.
Zoom.
So the next thing is going to be F6 is where you can actually expand a field. So in this case, we have James Andrew Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, but we can't quite see the whole last name here. So instead of trying to open up and get into modify mode, I can just hit F6, and it expands that field so I can read the whole last name. Now you can use this with notes, comments throughout the actual software.
So what you're saying is, by using F6, you can go wide.
Yes, we are getting wide.
All right, so the next combination of F keys that we're going to use is F7 and F8. This is very helpful when you're doing research on anything, and we're going to use the receipt query form to demonstrate it to you. So once you are in the form and you want to range on a date range, going back to that form, click on the field you want to range on, go into range mode, Control R, and use your F7 key to enter your range from date. Once you've entered that date, you can use your F8 key to enter your range through date. And you can toggle back and forth from F7 to F8 to view both of those dates, your range from and your range to date. And you see that those words do appear at the bottom right-hand portion of your screen, range from and range to. Now use your Enter key, and Magic will populate the form with all of the data that is included in the range you've entered.
I think this can be very helpful in doing some type of analysis, looking for certain receipts and so forth. So this is within a given period of time. So this is a great, I think that's F7, F8. They have been arranged to cooperate. Oh, so from after F8, of course, will be F9. So let's take you to the education registration form, or the class registration form. Now, F9 is really helpful when you have a split screen or a split form where you have a table on the top and a table on the bottom. As you can see for the class registration query form, as I scroll down, you can see we have all the different lists of the classes. And below, as we toggle through, you can see all the members that are registered for the class. Our education director really needs to get on some of these classes. We have no one registered. So, but to quickly go down to really get in and see what the registration looks like for a particular member, all you have to do is hit F9, and now you're down at the table at the bottom. So that can be very efficient as well.
Yes, very efficient way to jump to the next table in the form.
Let's review.
F keys continued. We're looking at F5 through F9. F5 is to zoom into Magic.
Zoom.
F6 is to go wide. F7 and F8 are designed to cooperate. And F9 allows you to jump to the next table in a form.
Oh, we are just getting started. Now it's time to keep this under control with our control key combinations. We have a couple of categories here under modes and miscellaneous. So let's go ahead, and we're going to go into the member information form, or the member query form in this case. So let's talk about, let's say I want to inquiry about a number of members. So I can hit Control Q, and you got it, Q for query. there you go. Also, let's say now I want to modify a member. Well, we can hit Control M. And now I'm in the member, ready to edit or even modify. I'm sure you can see the word association involved here. Or you can want to create a member or create a record. You can do Control C. Now, in Magic, it's Control E to establish a record. So Control C creates in Magic 9, but we all know everyone's going to go to Magic 10, so we're going to do Control E to establish. Diane, how about those miscellaneous control combinations?
There are a couple of unusual control combinations. The first one we're going to talk about is Control I, which allows you to redirect a print job to your screen rather than to send it to your printer. So from any form that you can print, when it says Start Execution, you're going to press Control I, tab over to the preview area, type Y for yes, and then use your Enter key until the form actually appears on your screen rather than your printer. Now, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, well, just so you know, you can print it from the screen. This is just a preview, and you will kind of see, through the enters, you will see your printers come up. That's just to let the Magic know how you want it to format, depending on what printer you're going to use. But once you click through, hit Enter, as Diane said, now you've previewed it, now you want it printed, just hit the print icon up at the top. So it's kind of indirectly redirecting the print.
That's right. Control I is an indirect redirect. The next control key combination that I want to talk about is Control D, which is otherwise known as the Control Ditto key. This is very helpful when you're setting up new charge codes that you want to copy from, say, a dues charge code from a previous year and create your current year dues charge code. Go to open up the charge code, use Control C to create a new one, give it a unique name, and from that point, as you move through the fields, you can use your Control D for each field, and it'll copy what is in the charge code you originally opened up. Then you can make whatever small changes you need to make it relevant to the current year. That's a good time saver.
And I'm going to use my Control F2 to undo.
Very clever.
Let's review. So first we talk about the different modes in Magic, like Control Q to query, Control M to modify, and Control C to create. But remember, Magic 10 is Control E to establish a record.
Then we talked about miscellaneous, which is Control I, the indirect redirect, and also Control D, ditto that to create something
This
new.
is not the movie Ghost. It doesn't mean I love you. It just means we're going to create a new record or copy a record.
That's right. Field by field.
Now let's talk about more control key combinations with searches and Magic 10 upgrades. Let's go back to Magic. Yeah, let's go.
Back to the member query form, the one we know and love and use so much. First, we're going to use our Control R key to locate a range of member records. When you use a Control R key, you can range on a specific value. In this case, we're going to type Smith. And when you press Enter, you're going to get all of the members who have that name Smith. And all you're going to see are the members who have the last name Smith. Now, there's also a Control L for locate, which behaves a little bit differently than the range key.
Yeah, because with the range, you're going to get nothing more and nothing less.
That's right. Only Smiths will show up. If you use L, it's the locate key, and if you do Control L and Smith, you'll be taken directly to the Smiths in your database, but you'll still be able to see the rest of the membership in your database.
So if you're doing research and you think it's close to Smith, but maybe it's really Jeremy Silence, you know, now you have him right here that you can actually do more research, zoom in on his record, and see if that's the member you're looking for.
And moving on to the next.
Yes, now we're going to talk about the Magic, the new Magic 10 shortcuts. And you're probably familiar with these shortcuts because they are Windows-based. But with Magic, we never used these before. But now with Magic 10, you will be able to. So now, let's say we're going into... So let's say we go into Thomas Adams. Here we go. Let's zoom in. Ooh. I'm getting shorted out. Here we go. Give me 1 second here. There we go. That's not what I want. Hang on. Control M. There we go. So let's say we have an association email. And we want to put this, hang on, this is a bad example. Let's use Samuel Baker. Here we go, Control M. So let's say we have an email we'd like to put in here. But now I need to put it in the NAR email so it will get pushed up to nerds. So I can highlight this, do Control C for copy, click it into the state email, the NAR state email, and hit Control V for paste. As you see, a nice, quick, easy way to copy and paste it into another field.
And once again, these shortcuts are consistent with Windows shortcuts to make it easy for you to remember.
Now let's say we have, in this case, we'll use another option too. We actually have, this is not Thomas Adams' email, so we can actually do web address. We can do Control X to cut it out because we want to leave that blank. But now we're going to put it in Vivian's web address because it really is her. And again, we're going to go back to Control V and paste it right in there. So nice, quick, easy keystrokes, which most of you probably are familiar with because they are Windows-based, but they are new to Magic. Let's review.
First, we looked at our Control R and our Control L combinations. Those are to range on records or to locate a record within your entire database.
And then we talked about the Magic 10 upgrades with Control C for copy, Control X for cut, and Control V for paste. So it's not a CSV, it's a CXV.
Very good. And now, for Frank's favorite part of the webinar, the hotkey shortcuts.
It's going to get hot, 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 hot.
That's right.
Hot.
We're going to use the Alt key in combination with an underlined letter in each menu item to go quickly from one portion of Magic to another. So let's go to Magic and take a look at this. So you'll notice when you look at the menus at the top toolbar in Magic, once you press your Alt key, you're going to see that one of the characters in each of those menu items is underlined. So if we press Alt-M, we're going to open the menu for managers.
And I don't have to hold Alt. I just hit Alt, and now I just hit M.
That's right. And you'll notice they all stay underlined. So the next key you can hit if you want to go to membership is M again.
I got to get my mouse out of the way here. Oh, I got to put the kibosh on that mouse. The mouse is getting in the way.
On that mouse.
So Alt-M.
Alt-M, M, and then M again to go to the member record. So Alt-M will take you to the member query form.
Oh, let's see how fast we can do that. Alt-M. There you go.
Can't be faster than that.
Is it my quiz now?
It's time for your quiz, Frank. How would you get to the Office query form?
Alt-M-M-O. How about that?
That's pretty quick. How about the cash receipts posting form?
Alt-M-A-A-C. Oh, there we are for people that like to get process transactions.
Well done. Now, how about the sales invoice form?
Alt-M-A-S-S. There we go. Oh, and I can't stop. How about Alt-M-A-I-I-I? Oh, I'm printing out statements now. Oh, that's crazy. How about Alt-M-A? Not yet. Alt-M-A-I-I-L. Now I can email them out over and over again. Remind our members to please pay your bill.
Somebody stop it.
Please. I'm spent. So let's review.
Okay.
So we have Alt-M-M-M get you to the member query form.
Alt-M-M-O takes you to the Office query form.
Alt-M-A-A-C takes you to the cash receipts posting.
And Alt-M-A-S-S takes you to the sales invoice form.
That's right. The opportunities are endless, as you can imagine. There's pretty much every single place that you need to get into Magic, you can use the Alt and letters combinations.
That's
the
exactly right.
hotkeys.
It's actually much faster than using your mouse. If you go someplace frequently, you can memorize the combinations and move pretty quickly through Magic.
That's hot.
That is hot. Moving on. You can find printable documentation on this matter in Magic by going to Help, Documentation, and looking for the menu item that's called Keystroke Chart. Once you open that up, you can print it out for easy reference. You can find all these combinations there.
To summarize, well, we talked about the F keys, for example, the F5 to zoom into the many different layers that Magic has. We talked about control key combinations like Control N to modify different records, as well as the hotkey shortcuts with the Alt MMM to get to the member information form. And also Magic 10 upgrades like Control V or Control C. That you're probably the window-based shortcut keys that you are familiar with. Now you can use in Magic. And we got some help on the matter. Now it's time for your questions. So we have a question here where it says, will Shift Insert and Control Insert still copy-paste in 10? That will not work. It's been replaced by the easier keys with Control C, Control V, and if you want to cut, Control X.
Give us just a minute here to look through your questions.
And we have a question here. Will you be sending the handout with this information? As Diane had mentioned, you can find most of this information. Well, we have two options you can find this information. One, the webinar will be posted on our website, so you can watch it over and over and over again and really get to understand the combinations. As well as Diane mentioned, there's the documentation where we have a short right in Magic. Just go to Help, Documentation, and what was that last part? The short
keyboard shortcuts.
Keyboard shortcuts, yes.
Are the hotkey shortcuts only for version 10? No, the hotkey shortcuts work in Magic 9 or 10. So
yes.
those have always been there, and they will stay there because they're very helpful.
There was only a couple minor changes for Magic 10, like Control F2 to undo, Control E to create or establish a record, and as well as the Control V, C, and X. Oh.
We also are being asked the question whether we know when customers will be contacted to schedule an upgrade for Magic 10.
We're going to be sending out a press release either later this week or the beginning of next week with instructions on how to upgrade to Magic 10.
We have a question here. Will we have to hit Control for all of the function keys now in version 10?
No, using the control keys is an option. Other options that we're going to save for future webinars are the ability to do the same functions with your mouse and using the buttons across the top of the screen or from the pull-down menus at the top of the screen.
We have what is the difference between Control C and Control E? Actually, Control C and Control E are basically the same thing. It's just if you're in version 10, Control C has become Control E. So it's both are to create or establish a record. Is Magic 10 a free upgrade? Yes, it is a free upgrade. Please take advantage.
Yeah, it looks like we covered most of it.
Yeah, I think that we are all set. Okay, so let's go. If you have any more questions after the webinar, please feel free to email us at webinars@rapattoni.com. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. And now it's time for our Rapattoni Wrap Up.
To view past and future webinars and to register for upcoming webinars, as always, you can visit our website at www.rapattoni.com. Go to Support, then Magic, Webinars and Training Videos, and select the webinar that you would like to view or register for the webinar that you're interested in. As always, we have support articles available to you by clicking on Support, Magic, and Magic Resource Articles. You can get help on various items by searching through the resource articles on the website.
And our next webinar will be June 27th. It's CDB maintenance or push or pull. Whether you're pushing data up to nerds or you're pulling the information from nerds, at the end of this presentation, you will be able to monitor, research, and manage the Nerd Central database. Membership errors, adds, and changes from a centralized form within Magic. Sign up as soon as you can. And it's probably the last time you'll see this one, but it is 1 month more before the NAR deadline for CDB, the central database. If for some crazy reason you have not got this started, the process started to get this set up, please give us a call at 800-722-7338. I want to thank you for joining the webinar today. I hope it was fun as well as informative.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next month.